Texas Governor Greg Abbott on Monday described Representative Beto O'Rourke as cult-like in the way that he's garnered attention in his bid to unseat Senator Ted Cruz. He's been a cult-like figure, very popular. He's been a cult-like, very popular figure the way that he's run the campaign. But you don't vote on cult. You don't vote on personality when you get to the U.S. Senate. You vote on the issues, Abbott said on Fox and Friends. Abbott was critical of O'Rourke's liberal policy views, saying Texas voters won't approve of George Soros' policies, such as higher taxes. Texans are hostile to any candidate who's talking about raising their taxes, he said. Texans are hostile to anybody talking about big government programs run their lives. Abbott likened this year's U.S. Senate race in Texas to his own campaign 4 years ago against Democrat Wendy Davis, who he noted also gained national attention before losing by roughly 20 percentage points in the general election. So in other words, he's saying O'Rourke is going to get a lot of popularity, be known by loads of people, and then just get wiped out in the election. Now, I've already said I think the O'Rourke thing is a long shot, and a lot of it is due to the stupidity of a lot of people that live in Texas. But regardless, I hate the fact that we can't, like, how do I explain this? It's when he talks about voting on personality versus issues, I think of a clown telling other people to stop putting on the big shoes and get rid of the red nose, because we're talking about a man who literally had this massive church shooting, all these people get wiped out, and then because he's so scared of the gun lobbyers, he doesn't do a thing but say thoughts and prayers and yada yada yada. Who only is governor because it's a red state, just like how most of the politicians that live in my state of California are only in office because it's a blue state and because they have these donors that throw them coins, so that anyone who actually wants to change or do anything radical as far as not per norm of the same stupid system, they push out. They don't get the name recognition. And he talks about raising taxes. I mean, you're talking about, you're defending a senator who voted for a tax cut back in December that gives 83% of the wealth distribution to the top 1%. But I'm supposed to believe he's for the people. It's just, it's again, kabuki theater. And what's sad is that you're going to have a percentage of people that buy into this. As I said before, the reason O'Rourke will lose this race is not because of people catching on to anything that's actually real. They get stoked by fear with all this nonsense about socialist George Soros money, which I've been waiting for someone to prove what that means and what they're talking about, and it's not coming to pass. Because like I said, the corporations and defense contractors, they're the ones who give Cruz his money. So it's just a thing where it's people trying to, like, you have to understand, when your person is bad in an area, you find supporters of that person trying to make reasons for why that's not such a bad thing. And what they'll do is they'll try to smear the other person as being like them. Oh, you're saying Cruz is corrupt, but what about O'Rourke and his Soros money? And a lot of people don't even know who that is, and they'll scare them on that alone. Just as I said, a lot of people couldn't give you a straight definition of what socialism is. Which, by the way, it's that term at this point for this race, it means red scare. We're gonna make you be fearful of the other person by throwing a label on them that half the people that vote won't even know what it means. So his comments are dumb. The fact that he's been able to be in office and let the state go to hell and push it back to the 50s and 60s is terrible as well. But it is what it is. These people don't care. And like I said, if you could get a populist wave that flushes out, you can have your lax gun control issues and stuff, but if you could get a populist wave of Republicans and Democrats that say screw the corporate money, and they're always running against someone else who's corporatist, I don't care which side they're on, I'll vote for them. But you're not doing that. I'm getting more of the same corruption that the people in that state, to a large extent, don't want to believe is going on, or if you do tell them about it, they try to pretend that particular politician isn't isn't that way. So it's part of that downward cycle I told you about, the end of the United States. Into the toilet we go.